For our drift, we decided to look at how litter and household waste impacts footpaths, in terms of access, safety and health across two transects of different land use in Cathays area. We chose two contrasting areas because we expected there to be a difference in type and amount of waste, and the impacts that it has. We also expected litter to decrease as we move towards what we perceive to be the boundary. This map highlights the two transects we walked, from the top of Salisbury Road towards Boulevard de Nantes, and then we returned up the residential street of Woodville Road. We targeted our drift on a waste collection day because we felt that this was when there was the biggest impact on safety and access.
These photos show our route along the Salisbury Road that we took. On the Salisbury Road we found different types of waste, ranging from fly tipping to commercial waste. This commercial waste was built up from the amount of takeaways, restaurants and shops that were on there, like Tesco's and Daiquiris. Tesco, as seen as in the bottom right of the photo, often have trolleys and skips of waste which is picked up daily but still obstructs the footpath and parking spaces, etc. Especially when the big lorries come to take all the waste away or to drop off new products. There is some residential in this area, but not as much as Woodville Road, which we're going to compare in a minute. Fly tipping is seen as this photo. Although it might not be directly affecting the public, it does affect the surrounding environment, especially aesthetically. As seen in this photo, where there's a large amount of waste just tucked around a corner, seemingly out of the way, but is in full view of the public eye. It also caused obstruction to the use of the gates that the sign specifically points out. It seems amusing that out of all the places to fly tip, they have chosen the only place where there is a sign warning against it along the road. All these forms of waste obstruct the path in different ways, but also the road and parking spaces, from the odd bin bag to waste from renovating a house. Although this might be more on collection day, it still causes problems to access.
As we move towards the end of Salisbury Road, towards the Boulevard de Nantes, the land use changed from takeaway shops and retail into offices for solicitors, law firms and accountants. This had a visible impact upon the amount of waste and also the type of waste on the footpaths. It was a much cleaner area with virtually no waste and refuse on the roads and footpaths at all. This is partly because firms and other businesses wanting to give good impressions to clients by being aesthetically pleasing. Another reason is because it's closer to the centre of Cardiff and the boundary between Cathays and the city centre. It's not a student area anymore, and the council invests more time and money in making areas like this cleaner. For example, on the high street, as this photo shows, there are more bins and recycling facilities available.
The transect on Woodville Road is a residential area, so there are a lot more bags and wheelie bins outside the houses compared to Salisbury Road. In some places it seems cleaner where the houses are provided with wheelie bins, but only houses that have a front garden supplied with these from the council, which means those roads without are highly impacted by the rubbish bags on the footpath shown in all these photos. Although these front gardens can be misused, where they're used for dumping even more rubbish and pretty much used as skips, as seen in this photo with the freezer outside their front garden. The photos show the heavy impact on the footpath and the obstructions caused to the public, especially on collection day, and also taking up the parking spaces again. It's evident from the type of the waste that it's mostly student houses, from seeing that there's lots of cans and bottles, and it's mostly recycling, which is only actually collected every 2 weeks, causing further accumulation of waste on the footpath. And it's not just man-made waste that has an impact on the public, but also more natural things like the leaves around at this time of year. Especially on a wet day, the leaves can become really hazardous, impacting upon footpath safety and disabling users. On our transect we also only saw one public bin, which is concerning, especially with the density of the population in Cathays.
Cardiff Council is currently in final consultation before drafting up a new waste strategy for the city. The Council is under pressure to meet the 70% recycling target set for 2025 by the Welsh Assembly Government. This is part of the Towards Zero Waste strategy. A survey has been conducted to 5,000 random homes to gauge the opinion on new schemes which were introduced, such as the curbside caddy scheme. Councillors have criticised the idea of one waste strategy though. Lisvane recycles the most rubbish, whereas Butetown is the lowest. However, Lisvane produces 2.5 times more rubbish than Butetown. In The Guardian, dated the 17th November, Cathays Ward Councillor Simon Pickard said with 20% of his local population moving in and out of Cardiff frequently, as the student hub, having one 70% recycling target for the whole city was too much. He said, "It's challenging to see such a difference between wards. Should we really be setting the same recycling targets which are highly demanding? We can't have a solution that fits all." But Tara King, head of waste management and street cleansing, said, "It's worth remembering this is a long-term view. In order to make step changes, we maybe need to apply one system for now, but make further changes later down the line. Getting the education message out now is complex enough. The preferred option for the Welsh Assembly Government is the weekly collections of curbside caddies, which is a food waste for weekly collections of a 25-litre and fortnightly collections of green bins.
To compare Cardiff's policy on recycling and waste management, we looked at Stuttgart, Cardiff's twin city, and in particular we looked at their ideas at reducing household waste and encouraging recycling. Recently they've come up with innovative ideas to encourage recycling in the commercial area by operating container hire for recycling. And in November this year, the local government tried to reduce the volume of waste by providing a council-operated compactor, like the one in the photo. Residents bring their own recycling material and have it crushed into compact, manageable parcels, ready for collection, in an attempt to reduce overall volume of waste. The council also charged a sidewalk cleaning fee, including their yearly taxes for all non-students, in a further attempt to improve the accessibility and safety of their footpaths.
There are certain things that could be done to lessen the impacts, for example weekly collections of recycling and constant cleaning of the streets as seen in the city centre. We felt that although the curbside caddy suggested are a good idea, they aren't that feasible. It would mean 2 more bins, which leads to further obstruction of the footpaths. One Cathays resident said, "The idea of having 5 more bins outside the front of our house seems ridiculous." He then went on to say, "The likelihood is they will just get kicked over and cause even more mess." Maybe Cardiff Council can learn from other cities like Stuttgart, having a council-operated compactor and collective places for recycling in local areas, which will reduce the overall amount of waste.